How you guys doing? Uh, coming at you with a video about forced dispatch. I have a lot of people ask me, about ATS or when I was with Rail, is it forced dispatch? This, that, and the third. I figured I'd talk about it and talk about my sentiments on it and how to handle it. So basically, forced dispatch is, excuse me, forced dispatch is when a company gives you a load, and regardless of how you feel about it, like it or lug it, you're going to hump that bad boy across the country and deliver it. Um, that's basically what forced dispatch is. And, they're going to try whatever reason they can to push that load on to you. So here are my sentiments. I don't know if a lot of people agree with it. Um, this is how I feel, and honestly, it's helped me be very successful as far as dealing with forced dispatch. So first and foremost, I want to say that my methods, what I do and how I think, are not the end all be all. It's just what I've noticed works for me. So one, I personally don't turn down any load. No matter where it is, no matter how crappy the location, um, I make it happen. And outside of certain specific reasons why just can't do a load, that's the only time I've ever turned one down or said, hey, look, this is what's going on and I can't do it. And, those reasons are so good that I've had fleet managers or dispatchers, depending on what you want to call them, they'll be like, oh, daggone, like, I'm sorry, I didn't even notice. Like, prime example, there was one load that they gave me, and it was time for me to go home, and I was thinking I was like with rail at the time, and they had to where I had to get down to Georgia, but I was like in Gary or something, and the weekend, well, not the weekend, but the night dispatch tried to give me a load, and it was like, go up to Wisconsin, um, pick up there, and it's like you're taking it to California or something. And obviously, California is a far away from Georgia, so I was like, I can't do that. Blah blah blah. Here's the reason why. And they're just like, she looked and said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Like I didn't realize that you were scheduled for home time." And she turned around and gave me like a load out of Indiana to take back to Georgia. Like, it was a complete accident. She just missed that I had home time scheduled. That's honestly the only stuff like that's the only reason I've ever turned down a load. I've personally never had a load where I feel unsafe. Um, so and when I say that, I mean like there. I've heard people be like, "How do you handle forced dispatch?" And what if they send you a load to go pick up in like the city of somewhere some tight city in California, um, and take that wherever. And it's just like, I'm not confident enough to go into California to that specific location. And I personally never had to deal with that. I've always looked at anytime they send me somewhere, I do the best level of trip planning I can to see what I'm getting myself into. And I take it as a learning experience, because if you're not pushed out of your comfort zone, how can you grow? And that's just in anything in life. If you just constantly stay where you're comfortable and that's it, how are you going to get any better? So that's never been a factor to me. I picked up at in Commerce, California at a steel place, and it tested me, and I just started flatbedding like not like a few months before, so I was pretty new to it, as far as new to how to handle driving a flatbed, and it was challenging, but I made it happen. Um, yeah, I've had a 7 or an 8. It was like 12 stops total, but 7 of those 12 stops were inside the city of New York City. So, I'd never done anything like that, and I did that with ATS. I mean, I'd been in New York and I'd been to the city, but I'd never done stop for stop for stop in the city like that. That was the first time for me, and I didn't turn it down. I was like, sure, yeah, I'll do it, and I took it as a learning experience, and I grew from it, and I enjoyed it. And it honestly was not as bad as people would try to make it out to be. Now, did it suck? Was it rough? Oh yeah, it was tight. It was tight, and I definitely had to be on my A game. But at the same time, it was obviously still doable. I had no accidents or incidents. I made it in and out alive, and didn't hit anything. Nobody hit me. Loads got delivered. There were no claims on the load. So I mean, what's the issue? I made it happen. So that's how I look at it. So I need to jump into how to handle being forced dispatch. What I have found that's successful for me is one, having a very good relationship with your driver manager or fleet manager, whatever term you'd like to call it. Um, have a very good relationship with them. And I can't, you have to feel them out. Every fleet manager is different, just like every driver has a different personality. So figure out the way that your fleet manager works best and what works best for you, and how it helps y'all foster y'all's relationship. For a prime example, my fleet manager at ATS, Matt, outstanding dude. He's definitely the best fleet manager I have. I don't want to say the best. He's a tie between him and Gabby Howard when I drove for rail. They're both like top notch. I swear, if I ever started like a company and I needed fleet managers or dispatchers, I would try to like recruit them because they know what it takes to make a driver not want to leave. They're both excellent. I'd say they're both the neck and neck. I really can't choose one over the other. But Matt, sorry about that. Dad called. So anyway, Matt and I have a very good relationship. Well, one thing I don't do, I don't like I said, I don't turn down loads. Um, I I have a good service record. I make my loads on time or early, and if there's ever a reason that I don't show up on time, or when I say don't show up on time, like they might put down, you know, the load delivers technically, they say 8 a.m. delivery, and what it actually is just like, well, 8 a.m. is the time the business opens, and you can deliver there 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. whenever you feel like it. Me, I shoot for 8 a.m. I'm sitting outside the gate. If they allow me to have the space, I'm sitting outside the gate by like 7 a.m. That's just what I do. Um, so for me, if they say 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. delivery, and I'm delivering at like 8:05, or arriving on the property at like 8 o'clock, 8:05, 8:15, to me that's a load failure because I've got to be there early. And that's what I mean. So I guess you could say I have a perfect service record, and so that's what I do. So I'm a good driver. I'm a safe driver. He's not always on the phone. He's not on the phone with me. Hey, so we got an alert from the system that you're falling too close to a car. You cut a car off. We got driver complaints on you, stuff like that. I never. I don't want to say I've never, but I haven't had to deal with anything like that from Matt. So we have a very good relationship, at least in my eyes. And whenever I'm in St. Cloud, I see him. I talk to him. He'll take time out of his busy day. Matt's a very busy man. Fleet managers and driver managers are very busy as it is. He takes time out of his day. He'll sit and talk to me for 20, 30 minutes about whatever. I've had this man go on his lunch break, and I just happened to be in the cafeteria, and he stopped what he was like. He stopped his lunch break and was doing stuff for me, off the clock, just trying to help me out. To me, for somebody to give up the 30 minutes of lunch break a day, and do something for me, that says a lot because he's busy balls to the wall from the time he walks in to the time he leaves that office. So I can't say anything. I have no complaints about the man, and he's gone above and beyond for me, and I appreciate that. But we have a pretty good relationship. So what Matt does is, like I said, it comes down to your fleet manager. What my fleet manager does, Matt, and he'll say, he knows like, hey, I'll go to New York City. I'll go wherever you send me. So he'll call me like, hey, so this is what I have for a pre-plan. Instead of saying you're doing this, he'll talk to me. He'll say, what do you think about this? And I always say yes, but he approaches me with the understanding that I'm not some kind of monster or some kind of puppet that's going to do what you want me to do. He talks to me about it, and he'll say like, this is what the load is, this is how much weight it is, this is the dimensions. You're picking up here, delivering here. He'll say, how do you feel about it? How are you feeling? Are you tired? Are you not? Blah blah blah. And we'll talk about it. And I always say, heck yeah, I'm gonna take it. Let's do this. Um, and as a result, because I'm always willing to help him and do the load, he gets me good loads, and on top of having good loads, he gets me home when I'm supposed to, and he maximizes the ability to put money in my pocket. Like he Matt helps me make a lot of money driving with ATS, and I can't complain. Um, so I think having a good relationship with your fleet manager is paramount. I think that's probably the best way to handle working for a company that's forced dispatch. It's second to none having a good relationship with your fleet manager. Now, I want to talk about how not every fleet manager is like Matt. Um, I've had some where I've had some where I've just had to work for them because mine was out for the day, where they're just like, you're taking it. I don't really care how you feel, this, that, and the third. I'm like, okay, you don't talk to me like that. Like, I was going to do the load anyway. I don't turn down loads. But if you have a legit safety concern or a legitimate reason that you won't do something outside of, I just don't feel like it, um, talk to them about it. And on top of that, send in a Qualcomm message too. That's another thing you should do, because anybody can sit and dispute a phone call. Supposedly phone calls are monitored and whatnot, or recorded. I don't know, but you can't dispute a Qualcomm message, because once it's sent, it's sent. Um, so yeah, and also take pictures of all your messages too, because if you're saying it's unsafe or you have a very legitimate reason why you can't go somewhere or do that particular load, if you shouldn't be doing it. With that being said, you did sign up to be a company driver, so you are forced dispatch. So I mean, it's kind of figure out how you want to go about handling the situation. Um, so yeah, that's really the biggest tip I have. Foster a good relationship with your fleet manager, and go from there. But as always, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Um, I'll catch you guys on the next go around.